जॉबलेस ग्रोथ का मामला सिर्फ भारत तक सीमित नहीं है, लेकिन युवाओं की तादाद के हिसाब से देखें तो ये मामला इस मुल्क के लिए बेहद अहम हो जाता है। 2011 की जनगणना के मुताबिक भारत की 1.25 अरब आबादी में 42 करोड़ लोगों की उम्र 15 से 29 साल के बीच थी। इसके अलावा 1 करोड़ 30 लाख नौजवानों की खेप हर साल नौकरी के लिए तैयार हो जाती है। ये डेमोग्राफिक ट्रेंड की रफ्तार आगे भी ऐसी ही है। 2011 से 2015 के बीच लेबर फोर्स में 15 से 29 साल की उम्र के लोगों की संख्या 4 करोड़ बढ़ गई, जबकि 29 साल से ज़्यादा उम्र के लोगों की ये तादाद 3 करोड़ घट गई। अजीम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी की स्टेट ऑफ वर्किंग इंडिया नाम की एक लंबी चौड़ी रिपोर्ट में कहा गया है कि बेरोजगार लोगों में भी युवाओं की संख्या सबसे ज़्यादा है। इसमें 60% हिस्सेदारी 15 से 25 साल के युवाओं की है। हैरत की बात यह है कि देश की कुल कामकाजी आबादी में इनका अनुपात महज 30% बैठता है। नोटबंदी और जीएसटी के झटके से हालत बहुत बिगड़ गए। भारत में रोजगार वृद्धि की एग्रीगेट दर बहुत कम रही है। राष्ट्रीय सैंपल सर्वे यानी एनएसएस की तरफ से अपनाई जाने वाली लचीली परिभाषा के बावजूद ये हालत है। दिलचस्प ये है कि जब अर्थव्यवस्था वृद्धि की रफ्तार सुस्त रहती है, उस वक्त कुल रोजगार में बढ़ोतरी होती है। लेकिन 2004-05 के बाद से ये चलन भी बदल गया। 2004 से 2011 के बीच ग्रामीण इलाकों में रोजगार की संख्या में गिरावट देखने को मिली, लेकिन शहरी रोजगार की संख्या में महज 2.5% सालाना की वृद्धि दर्ज हुई। आपके हिसाब से ऐसा क्यों हुआ है कि साल 2000 के बाद तेज इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होने के बावजूद रोजगार उस अनुपात में नहीं बढ़ पाया है?
Well, it's very clear that the period from around the mid 2000s to 2011-12, kind of 2011-12, was a period of relatively fast growth, and I think this has in recent years, this has been India's best performance in growth. And after 2011-12, our investment rates have slowed down. Although the growth GDP numbers may not have slowed down so much.
Between the year 2000 and 2012, non-agri job growth was actually quite rapid. 7.5 million new non-agricultural jobs were being created over that 12-year period. Regardless of whether you look at the 99-2000 to 2004-05, first half of the decade, or the second half of the decade from 2004-05 onwards.
But our calculations show that during this period, the potential workforce in the non-agricultural sectors may have increased by almost double that number. That's around 15 million. So, so even during the best period of economic growth, our economy was not able to generate enough decent jobs. One best guess is that in recent years, when construction, agriculture, both have slowed down, the job creation may have also slowed down.
The drop in the non-agricultural job growth came after 2012, and particularly in the last 3 or 4 years, and that is the source of the problem.
This contradiction between high growth rates and open unemployment or low employment generation is something that has been plaguing the economy for about 2 decades now. And we really need to look into the nature of the growth process. It's a growth that has been predicated on the large corporate sector and on rapid growth of large corporations, which it is assumed will somehow trickle down to the rest of the economy through employment generation. Now, that is not happening. We know that large corporate growth is not generating sufficient employment. So we need to change the focus, work from the bottom up, work for a bubble up rather than a trickle down. And that means making employment generation the focus of economic policy, which is the opposite of what has happened so far.
Well, you see, there is a vicious circle here. If you have growing income inequalities, then that tends to generate a demand for all kinds of new goods. That tends to generate a demand for structural, technological change that actually tends to be labor saving, because that imitates the lifestyle of the foreign countries of the West, for instance. The rich tend to imitate that lifestyle, which is not really employment generating. And when that happens, labor productivity growth increases, while wages do not, and as a result inequality increases, that further compounds this problem. And all this basically implies that you have high rates of labor productivity growth, and since employment growth is output growth rate minus labor productivity growth rate, with high output growth, since labor productivity growth rises very high, you find that employment does not increase.
लो प्रोडक्टिविटी वाले रोजगार की वजह साफ है। कुल रोजगार में कृषि क्षेत्र का बड़ा शेयर और बाकी बचे लोगों के बड़े हिस्से का कम उत्पादकता वाले सर्विस सेक्टर में काम करना। हालांकि 1960 में जीडीपी में कृषि की हिस्सेदारी 55% थी, लेकिन 2011-12 में घटकर 18% रह गई। 1960 में कुल रोजगार में खेती की हिस्सेदारी 72% थी, जो कि 2011-12 में घटकर 48% रह गई। भारत की आर्थिक तरक्की में सर्विस का बड़ा योगदान है। उम्मीद की गई थी कि इसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को रोजगार मिलेगा, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं हुआ। कहाँ चूक हुई?
The fact of the matter is that services are the sectors which have shown job growth. It's manufacturing which has not been showing job growth. Certainly in the last 4 or 5 years, there's been an absolute decline in the workforce in manufacturing.
I think it is important to note that our growth strategy cannot be led by services sector alone. I mean, if you look at our services growth, it was also largely driven by, to some extent at least, to a great extent, it was driven by the export demand.
No, you see, the service sector is not one homogeneous sector. Within the service sector, you have services which actually are high-end services, IT-related services, which really require for the performance of the service substantial amounts of investment and substantial amount of capital input. At the other end, you have low-end service, which is, really speaking, a counterpart of disguised unemployment. I mean, like agriculture, that service sector is overcrowded and is characterized by what would call disguised unemployment. Now, the growth of the service sector, to the extent is the upper end service sector, does not generate that many jobs.
If you're looking at finance, if you're looking at telecom, if you're looking at even the ICT, the IT enabled services, these actually don't generate very much employment. Together, they do not account for more than 5% of total employment in the country. And that's not good, because these are the rapidly growing services in terms of income. The services that do generate employment are typically the low grade, low value added and low educated, low skill services, which do not generate much income. So unfortunately, even the services that have grown very rapidly in India are not those that generate a lot of employment.
It is good news that modern services, as opposed to traditional services, have seen the best job growth. What are the modern services? Well, telecommunication, airlines, to some extent in railways, education, health, post, financial intermediation, banking, insurance, pension. These are the modern service sector jobs which have grown. And these offer the best potential for relatively better educated young people. But the fact of the matter is that, modern services will only grow to the extent that the production sector grows. And what are the two main production sectors? Well, agriculture. Unfortunately, agriculture has grown at only 2.5% per annum in the last 4 years, compared to 5% per annum in the preceding 5 years. So clearly, the services that are required by the agricultural production sector can't have grown very rapidly. Secondly, manufacturing, I told you, has not been growing at all, and as a result, manufacturing jobs have not grown. Quite the contrary, they've fallen. So, how rapidly can services grow in the absence of production sectors doing poorly? There is a limit to their absorptive capacity, which is one reason why open unemployment rates have risen.
We need to create more value in agriculture. I think the best way to do it is by focusing more on agro-based industries. And both agriculture and manufacturing, we also need to focus more on the domestic market. It cannot be led the growth cannot be led by the export sector alone.